to the Nerdiverse. Go ahead, sit and listen to the masters, the old heads, talk about what you love the most. Video games, comics, movies, and everything you need to maintain. We got the knowledge that's straight out the ether. Gonna need a drink and have to take a seat to expand your mind and listen to the speaker. Mike and the squad's gonna give you what you need. Please send in the question, come and get some answers, learn a couple lessons from the masters with the special guests. We got the Green Lanterns glowing on their chest. Yes, please sit back and relax, cause we're gonna hit you with them stone cold facts. And allow me to be the very first to welcome you to the masters of the Nerdiverse. Welcome to the Masters of the Nerdiverse podcast, where we always have such sights to show you. This superhero anthem of a podcast can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Spotify. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. And with me, as always, is the also host, the monitor to my anti-monitor, Winter Trash Monk the Thizzer.
The most rootin' it tootin'est, jet flying, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun! Winter.
Okay.
Trash Monk the Third. That's Trash Monk. Aye. Trash Monk. Aye! Woo! And I'm coming at you.
Wow.
From the Trash Bunker. How's it going, Mike?
It's going well. I actually take umbrage with that opening because it's a reference to Yosemite Sam, and you, my friend, are quite literally the tallest person I know. Well, Yosemite Sam's like 3'2".
I was trying to do a Nature Boy Ric Flair reference, but I forgot halfway through what he actually says.
Yeah.
So I went to the basics, which was Yosemite Sam, and then I went back to, I know a little bit of what he says.
All right, wrestling fan, who's your favorite member of the Four Horsemen?
Don't know what you're talking about. Jimmy Snuka.
No,
What's he doing nowadays?
I don't think he's alive.
Yeah, he's not. He killed somebody. So,
Yikes. The correct answer is Arn Anderson, by the way.
Arn Anderson. Okay, this is going to go for how's my week going as well.
All right.
So I've been trying to watch pro wrestling again. Don't hit me. I'm not that much of a nerd, folks. But I kind of am. So I'm trying to get back into it. I saw something about Mick Foley. I'm like, Mick Foley, that's great. I love his stuff. I love hardcore wrestling, all that chair shots and everything. Sandman is probably my favorite wrestler. Or like he has my favorite intro where he just appears into the crowd and he's got a cigarette in his mouth and he's just drinking beer and he's already bloody before he gets into the match happens. Yeah, that sort of thing. He sucks at probably, if you try to get him into like a technical match, he'd probably suck. He's just there for hitting people with a Singapore cane and all that. Okay, anyways. Mick Foley is announcing a new title on WWE.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, I'm going to have to watch this.
Yeah.
So I sit down and I waited 1 hour. I waited 2 hours. By the start, I think it was okay. I waited an hour. I think by the start of the third hour, Mick Foley comes out and he's talking about, we need to make Raw again. I'm like, okay, well now you're rustling all the Donald Trump jimmies in there, which is probably the entire audience. And this is how they first roll out how they're gonna make the show Raw again. So if you watch one of these episodes, there's a lot of lights that happen. You can see the crowd. There's a lot of like technical lighting happening. And when he said it's time to get Raw again, some of the lights go out so you don't see the farther audience, and some of the technical lights on stage are turned off. So it's a little bit more basic. And I thought that, okay, they're just having a malfunction. Nope. On the third hour of Raw now, they are going to shut off some of the lights. And that's their version of getting back to Raw. I'm like, well, to me, that that sounds like you're like halfway closing up. Yeah,
it's the end of the night, man.
but it's yeah. You're just letting people know. I don't understand that gimmick, or like what makes Vince McMahon go. You know what really would fix everything if we play a little lighting game at the end. That will make people start watching us.
Well, yeah.
So the new title they announce is the 24/7 title, which is not that new. It's the hardcore title, which had as its one of its features, you have to defend it 24/7. So there would be multiple. So it's pretty much it's a gimmick title. It's people running around backstage, and then they get hit with something, and then there's a referee that counts them, and then now there's a new now a new champion, and there could be like 5 or 6 champions in an episode.
I kind of like it. I actually know exactly what you're talking about, with the 24/7 title,
right?
And that's what I saw of it. I forget who was holding the title at the time, but they were going to their car, and RJ Truth was there. And it was like a horror movie because the guy got in his front seat, looked in the back seat. RJ Truth was there. When he looked to the other side, the referee was in the car too. And he pulls him out the car and gets him paying 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
So it's 24/7, right? But Mick Foley then also says it will be defended in the 3rd hour of Raw in the 3rd hour of Raw, and I'm gonna assume it's third, like the maybe into SmackDown the 2nd hour, wherever they're having issues with their ratings, which is probably the last hour of all their shows. Yeah, that's where it's going to be defended. So it's technically not 24/7. Now I like what they can be doing in the future, where they can have like social media where they have the 24/7 champion talking, and then out of nowhere there's a guy that pins him, and then he becomes the champion and runs off.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you see RJ Truth's tweet earlier today?
No,
it's super funny. That's why
I'm not down that rabbit hole of following WWE superstars.
I just happen to be on my timeline. I'm not really into that hard, but the RJ Truth tweet kind of made me laugh because all you see is him. He's like doing a selfie. He's just around trees, and he was like, "Yeah, hey, y'all need to behave yourselves and stop looking for me. I'm not trying to be worried about y'all 24 hours a day. This is why I'm just stuck in the woods right now. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Nobody go find me to take this belt until I have to be in the ring to defend it. I got to go see the McMahons in the morning. I'm going to go handle some business. I don't want no trouble out of y'all. I don't want y'all jumping out of bathroom stalls and stuff trying to get my belt." I thought it was pretty funny. He was like, "Yeah, I got to figure my way out of these woods. I got myself lost. But I know there ain't nobody here going to take my belt. I'm the champion now." So they keep that up, and it's just super random. And like someone can lose a title on Twitter, or someone can lose a title like doing a YouTube video interview or something like that. That would be hilarious. I think that would be awesome.
All right, and it's like it's something.
It's something.
WWE has had an issue of like, I mean, I don't like how they have about, I think they said like 14 different titles right now in the WWE. Yeah.
It's a little convoluted.
And I don't think the person was counting their UK titles either right now.
Right.
But anyways, it's crazy, and I find this all so fascinating because there's like so many like philosophical ideas being woven into going, okay, it's not real, but we need to pretend it's real to an audience that also knows it's not real, but they're willing to go like, I'm going to suspend disbelief. And so then add on top of it characters like the Undertaker of he's the undead. So now we need to suspend belief that an undead human being is now going to fake wrestle.
Winner, listen, man. The power of kayfabe is a multi-billion-dollar industry, dog. Kayfabe is everything.
Hey, don't get me wrong.
Kayfabe is everything. And what happens is when you're a little kid, you're very impressionable, right? You're extremely impressionable. So when you're when your dad's watching wrestling, let's say in the 90s, and
Mhm.
you see the Undertaker and he's this larger than life character, or you see
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson back in the day, or Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're totally in. And then you become an adult and you know it's fake, but you still like that feeling of being
Yes.
in the atmosphere. If you've ever been to like a WWE event, there's an electricity in the air.
Yes.
It's real. You're hype. You see the cats. You're watching it. It's really an experience.
Yeah, I
you know?
totally get like I liked how one person put it. Who's the Al Snow actually was talking about it. Of what did everybody want? Anyways, that's Al Snow. So he had a character that was Head, right? So, and this was and it was like a mannequin head that he just cut off, and he would go into the ring like shaking it, like, "What did everybody want?" And then people shout out, "Head."
It's awesome.
What did everybody need?
Yeah.
Head. Yeah. What did everybody love?
Right.
Yeah. There you go.
You have to suspend belief, man.
Yeah.
Like,
so anyway,
do you really think like Mankind with Socko really incapacitated people? No.
Yeah. So that's so the way I look at it is like they are actors pretty much, and it's like why would we get upset with Angela Lansbury for not being a real
detective,
mystery writer? And that's what Al Snow brought
that reminds
up.
me of back in the day when Bruce Lee was alive, right? And Bruce Lee was a movie actor. At the end of the day, he was a movie actor, but people would just come up to him and start fights and think they can whoop Bruce Lee's ass. And the truth was, no. Bruce Lee was actually a practitioner of Jeet Kune Do, and they would get firmly whooped. And Bruce Lee was like, I'm tired of just people walking up to me trying to do kung fu. Like I'm a dad. Like I'm at the grocery store buying eggs, and somebody tries to do a dragon kick at me. I'm gonna defend myself, but I'm Kayfabe is real, man. That's what
right. So I'm excited about not WWE but more AEW, this new contender coming in. I don't know if you've been following that at all. Yeah. So I'm excited to what that has in store. I mean, they've already made a statement out there of going, our rating when we're on TV is going to be TV 14 instead of WWE's PG right now. And I believe the Attitude Era of WWF was 14, but we shall see.
I understand, and I was always a fan of alternative wrestling, like TNA, New Japan, even Lucha Underground. You know what I'm saying? I'm really big into alternative wrestling. And I think the WWE can stand a little competition. Real like American competition. Like New Japan is awesome. I think New Japan Wrestling, their whole program is insane if you're into it, right? But not your average North Dakota good old boy is not gonna.
They're gonna go. We beat them in World War II. Why are we watching them?
Why are we watching this? So sadly, but I think a new U.S. based.
I don't think it's sad that we beat them in World War II.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's sad that they can't see past that. But anyway, I think that what is it? The AEW is what it's called.
Yeah, AEW, Cody Rhodes and
them, and they're just buying whoever. Like they're even courting Undertaker right now. They're courting Undertaker to try to pull him away from WWE, which will never happen. That would be insane. I don't know. If their first episode on TNT, because they're going to be on TNT, just like WCW used to be, and the lights go out, and the freaking Undertaker standing in the center of the ring, it's going to get attention.
Yeah, and I got a little tingle in my legs, and that's not the diabetes.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to open huge, and you don't think that they got the money to like pull, like, can you imagine if like The Rock just showed up? He's not obligated to anyone.
Yeah,
that's insane, dude.
Yeah, I mean they have a spot in their card right now where they can announce another person coming.
Yeah,
and they've already suggested that AJ Styles
is being courted. Is
being and Jeff Ross already signed for AEW, and that's a bigger get than a lot of people think.
Yep.
So,
it's getting interesting.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer in competition. Vince,
Yeah.
I think WWE has gone stale over the past 10 years. 10 years, I'm going to
You
say.
tell 'em. Yeah.
And I think they need a little comp. I think they need someone
Mm-hmm.
to put a little fire under them to finally take the reins of creativity from Vince and actually let Triple H and Steph actually run it because they booked pretty good, especially Triple
Yeah.
H. He has a good mind for it, but Vince gets in his own way a lot. So that's what makes a lot of these. That's why we keep seeing Brock Lesnar become champion, because he just stuck. He doesn't want to give new talent chances. So it's anywho,
the beast.
Even though he needs to hit
All
leg
right.
day a little bit more, but that's just my opinion.
But how was your
Week?
My
week was cool. Actually, I got to go to my favorite horror macabre store in Burbank, California, called Dark Delicacies.
Build-A-Bear. Oh, dude.
FedEx. It's a horror show in there. But yeah, if you're in the Los Angeles area, you want to go to a store that's just pure horror, love, fun. It's called Dark Delicacies. This is not a plug. This is not a paid advertisement. I just really love that store. And I got me a book. I got a bobblehead of Jason. And I got this cool Twilight Zone poster that I just fell in love with. It's black and white. And I saw it and I was like, is that for sale? Or can we get are there prints of that? They're like, of course there's prints. So I bought and framed that. I'm probably
that hasn't been for sale since 1942.
Is what for sale?
Whoa!
And I go home and it's already in my house. So got to hit that up. And the same day, well, let me talk about video games for a split second. Was able to play more Celeste. That's fine. More Mortal Kombat. That's fine. I'm mad at the PlayStation Store because there's this new game that just recently dropped called Observation on PlayStation and PC. And apparently it's like $25 right now, but it's not too long. But apparently it's stellar in like a 10 out of 10. So I tried buying it, but the PlayStation Store was glitching out and locked my account. So I had to spend a whole day with their customer service trying to get my account unlocked. And I wasn't able to buy the game because I wanted to talk about it today. But oh well. But other than that, this weekend I got to go see John Wick 3. Parabellum in the theater, and it doesn't disappoint. John Wick films are very, very good. And this last one, it's good because it knows what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it totally embraces what it is, which is a fun popcorn.
Sounds like
it's really excellent adventure. You know, I don't want to play devil's advocate, but I would say. Shut up. I would say that this series of films is a perfect trilogy. I was having this conversation with some of the people I went to go see the movie with, and I was like, all three films are damn near immaculate for what they need, for what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I love all three films equally. So
now, can I break something to you? I know they've been advertising it as a trilogy, but they already said that they're making another one. Yeah.
That's fine. That's totally fine. Because trilogies can be in a bubble. You know what I mean? Like, and this is a good segue to a new segment we're going to start doing on the show, which is the Poll of the Week.
Yeah.
Poll of the Week.
Let me introduce to your dancers. It's Poll of the Week. It's raining.
It's cherry bomb.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. So every week on our Twitter, which is at mnerdiverse, I'm going to ask a question that you, the Nerdiverse, can help participate in answering. And this week, I asked the Nerdiverse, out of these choices, what do you consider to be the quote-unquote perfect trilogy? Meaning that these three movies in a bubble are immaculate and untouchable in your eyes. So the choices I laid before them were pretty generic, but I think these are overall universally accepted to be perfect trilogies, right? The first choice is the Back to the Future trilogy. Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3, which
Mm-hmm.
Some people will fight you
Only
to the
seen
death
one.
over.
Next.
Mm, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that later. The second option was the trilogy of the dead, which is Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead, which some would seem perfect. And this is what I'm talking about, 3 movies in a bubble. The Indiana Jones trilogy, which is Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade. We don't talk about Crystal Skull. That doesn't count in the trilogy. And of course, also 3 movies in a bubble, the original Star Wars trilogy, which is A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and The Last Jedi, and Return of the Jedi. And in our poll, it was going towards Back to the Future for quite some time. But then the Star Wars fans awokened from the Dagobah system, and with a whopping 38% of the vote, the original Star Wars trilogy was voted out of, what was it, like 35 votes, 25 votes, something like that. The original Star Wars trilogy got first place. The Back to the Future trilogy got second. The Indiana Jones got third. And all the Romero heads must have been asleep because they got fourth. And I found that to be fascinating, that with all the Star Wars hate that's out there, people still have such fondness for the original trilogy.
So, I mean, I almost voted for, just for nostalgia purposes, for the Dead trilogy. But I do have to say, Day of the Dead is kind of like hot garbage sometimes. So, the only way that it becomes redeemable, if you become a philosophy dude going, well, it's talking about the military industrial complex, about how we're all zombies, and sort of thing. Yeah, and that's how I survive watching new Star Wars movies, so I don't need to,
Wow. Do that again. And I personally voted for the Indiana Jones series because I'm one of the 1 in 50 people who actually love Temple of Doom. That's my favorite Indiana Jones film outside of Raiders and Last Crusade. I love the Temple. That's the first Indiana Jones movie I watched as a kid. So it's kind of hard to defeat that nostalgia.
I tried to vote for the Star Wars trilogy, but then I realized I was out of time.
Did you have to go back in time? Did you have to go back?
No, I clicked on it like 100 times, and I realized, it's probably closed.
Oh no, you got to be quick. It lasts 24 hours, by the way. The actual polls last 24 hours, so you will definitely see it if you are following us on Twitter, which is @mnerdiverse. But I did want to ask you, Winter, what do you think are some criteria that make up a perfect trilogy?
It's funny you say that. It's almost the same criteria that I would put for a good TV show. So there's going to be some overlap here. You need to have pretty much the story idea in the beginning of the show. You need to have the trilogy, like a pretty good understanding of where you want the series to go. And you might think that's basic, but actually there's a lot of directors who will start off strong and then just waver off.
Yep.
Wachowski brothers.
Yep.
But then then there so I would say that's a strong thing. I would also say have stuff there that the basic viewer could enjoy, while also having like the hardcore nerds also like, if that makes sense, because you're trying to instead of like trying to make a generic thing that will appeal to everyone, have something that's like unique that a basic person would enjoy, but also leave the nerd to dissect it and go like, well, like go deeper if they so choose.
Yeah, I definitely concur. Fan loyalty is really big on having the perfect trilogy. Is something that doesn't have to slap you in the face, but if you're something that rewards you for staying along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And in trilogies, it's really hard to keep that through line if you have different directors for each film. So like you said, consistency is huge. You know what I mean? Like the story has to make sense throughout all 3 films, and the continuations have to have synergy with the other films, maybe the film before it or the film after it.
Yeah.
And if it's the final film, that has as much pressure as the first film to sell you.
And
You know
never
what I mean?
fall into the trap of going, leaving a question mark. If this is going to be the conclusion, make it a conclusion. You can add you can add a little flair of going, oh, the universe will continue on, sort of thing, but you have to put a loud and hard period at the end of the story.
The characters that we're staring at now, story is essentially over.
Right.
But you can, like you said, leave the door open for an expansion of this world that you've created. Like Back to the Future is a perfect example of that. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Back to the Future 3. I've only seen it like once or twice.
Yeah.
But what you can say is that series bookmarks the hell out of itself. It's like, this is the end of this story between Marty and Doc Brown. That started with them. This is the absolute end of the story. Adventures are to ensue for Doc Brown and his family going forward, but that's not this story.
Right.
This story is over. And I think that finality is extremely important, and not to leave it wide open or ambiguous, as it were.
And there's that thing. I'm gonna butcher this, but it's a screenwriter thing of a cat stuck in a tree, right? So you want to first develop how that cat first got into the tree. Then you want to go the process of getting the cat out of the tree, and then I could be butchering this whole topic, and then the conclusion of the cat is now out of the tree, and the character has a reflection.
Yeah.
It's funny. So that's the major, and right there, 3, and that's like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. Oh, sorry, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
I totally agree. And I was when I was at Dark Delicacy, they were currently having like a writers guild, and a bunch of like industry writers were just sitting around having drinks, talking shop, right?
Yeah.
And these are guys who, like, one of the guys wrote, I think, for All My Children. Another person wrote for Firefly or something weird like that. We're just chilling, and
nothing speaks, by the way, of Hollywood, just random day in Los Angeles of having a writer of Firefly and All My Children.
It's so weird. It was a weird mix of writers in this building, just waxing poetic, and I was just like a fly on the wall, just kind of listening while my friends were shopping and stuff. But they were mentioning, like, one of the guys said, writing 101. I'm writing a road trip. One of the hardest things in the world is to get everyone in the car. Right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the hardest things in the world is to make a believable transition from the first frame of the film to where you need them to go to propel the story, because they all have to have a believable reasons to why they're in this car. And some characters are easier to get in the car than others. And you'll find yourself spending hours or days agonizing over something so simple, because if there's not a smooth transition, it's all for naught. It all begins to fall apart at that point.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think trilogies have to nail that on both bookends, the fade in and the fade out.
Yeah, because the first movie you essentially have to create buy-in.
Yep.
And it's. I want to know the psychopath who's going, I haven't seen the first movie, but I will see the second one.
Well, It's the same thing for people.
Sometimes that works.
There's one person who went to go see Avengers Endgame and didn't watch any of it. There's that one guy who has questions at the end of the film because he just decided to watch Endgame at the end of a 10-year arc.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah, why is that purple guy so mad? It's like, get out of my face, dude. Like, I can't with you. But that's the weight of a trilogy, is that each film has to stand alone in its own isolated compartment, but also make sense if you also reward those who've come along the way. You know what I mean? That's the pain of a trilogy.
Absolutely.
And that's the hardest thing to nail, especially the final film. You know what I mean? Too crazy. Good topic. So we're going to do definitely another poll of the week next week. And you'll get to participate, and we'll actually be able to discuss that topic as well. So I think this is a good new segment for Masters of the Universe. Don't you agree, Winter?
Absolutely. But you know what time it is
Yeah, it
now, right?
segues perfectly to the news.
Dun 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 dun. Brum, 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 brum. Welcome to the news. I'm your host, Walter Schaefer, and with me, as always, is Charles Barkley.
Oh wow, I get to be Charles. Damn, my name was going to be.
You want to be somebody else?
I was going to make my name Tennessee Johnson.
Yeah.
Our Slack payback.
You can be Matt Lauer then if you don't want to be Charles Barkley. If you're going to give me that lip, you be Matt Lauer.
That's not fair. I might as well be Dallas Reigns, Doug. You know Dallas Reigns is, Doug? That's an LA joke right there. Don't talk to me about Dallas Reigns. Dallas Reigns is the coolest. He's not listening to this podcast. Let's get into some video game news, man. So let's start with our good old friends at Sony. Always setting the world on fire. So apparently, Sony and Microsoft are teaming up to announce a partnership for cloud gaming and content streaming solutions. This is an interesting story. Because apparently, somebody at Microsoft got the bright idea to supersede the gaming division of Sony Interactive, and it just went straight to Sony, the company, above them. And so Sony Interactive, the makers of the PlayStation and the people who've been running this since God knows how long, got to be announced this with everyone else. It's just kind of insane. You know, they hopped over the problem because we all know that recently Sony doesn't like to play well with others. They're, in regards to the whole Fortnite tobacco, and
we prefer a single player style of company.
We're a single player company. We don't like to multiplayer, right? So what this is a lot of business jargon. Pretty much what this boils down to is currently Microsoft has a very strong cloud gaming system on their end. I forget the name of the actual program, if you know that by any chance, Winter, that they actually are utilizing. And Sony wants a piece of it. They're like, hey, we really don't have a strong cloud gaming infrastructure at this point.
It's called Scoter McButtface OS.
That's what it's called in Japanese. So Sony's like, yeah, guys, we don't want to be left behind because whatever Google's planning has everyone shook. The Google's
Project X
Cloud, Project MK Ultra. What?
Project X Fart.
Okay, but Sony's like, yeah, if we can't beat them, join them. At least at this stage of the future of gaming, and it's starting to really shape up. Like we're really not going to have consoles after this last generation because
the enemy of my Google is my
friend.
Everyone
is shook because Google is in the labs doing something. Oh, yeah. The actual data center solution is called Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure, as in blue. So they want to utilize that for their Sony products because I think the writing's on the wall that cloud gaming is the future and consoles are going to slowly die, which makes me very sad. But I think Nintendo's going to Nintendo, but Sony, or Microsoft rather, are totally okay teaming up for a future where console sales don't matter anymore. It's all about a steady place where their content can live, which is on some cloud service.
Meanwhile, tumbleweed blows through a GameStop. Please take my used discs.
Man. GameStop are a bunch of thieves. Hate GameStop.
Whoa!
Have you ever? Anyway,
this cat's got claws, and it's scratching up
all the discs. Oh, I just bought this yesterday. How much can I get for it? Oh, $3. But I paid $60. I paid $59 for it.
That's the power of competition.
There's no competition. That's the problem. There used to be competition in electronic boutique, but those guys went under. So GameStop was the only game in town.
Go to your local Hollywood Video.
Winner. You're triggering me right now. There is no Hollywood Video anymore, man. The last Blockbuster is in Alaska. No one goes. All they have is copies of Cool Runnings, dog. That's it. Cool Runnings and like Diet Pepsi. That's all that's in there, dog. And the Memoirs of the Invisible Man with Chevy Chase. That's all that's in there, dude. It's the most garbage.
Wow, I need to get out more.
But speaking of things I need to get out, apparently Sony is creating a TV and film production studio for their video game IPs. I feel really strongly about this.
Like,
no,
happy?
not at all. I'm not happy at all. I don't trust
Well, they did so well with Venom.
Okay, you literally stalled my hard drive for a second. That's it. Is that I don't trust Sony with anything other than providing me with PlayStation products. I don't trust and very cheap headphones and TVs. I'm super
Thorny.
Not cool with any of what's going on here, only because Sony cannot be trusted to make films or TV series or anything at this point. And the idea that they may sully some of their perfect titles, like God of War or Uncharted or Last of Us, and bloat the storyline, is something I'm not really looking forward to, man. Like,
yeah, I think what will happen is that we'll find out that, I mean, PlayStation is good, or at least these games are good with like clips from the game, but to like sustain that for like an episode of a show, like how long of a Last of Us cut scene can you sit through?
Nah, it's like you have to support this for a season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm okay if they said, okay, this takes place in the Last of Us universe, and you see clickers and stuff, and it's very Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Or this takes place in the Uncharted universe. But it's like, I don't want Kratos on TV doing like side adventures that may contradict.
We had a deal, Poseidon!
We had a deal! Hermes! You know, so I don't want any of it, man. Just let the video games tell their story and stop. Don't let Sony touch anything unless it's unless it's PlayStation related, man.
Well, here's that idea. Why don't we have Kratos in New York City?
Okay, guys. Kratos is in the future. Kratos is in the future.
Yeah.
And he sees a car and he says Hades, and he stabs the car with the blades of chaos. The car is a Hyundai Synergy. Then we have a Hyundai deal. The deal is that we have a God of War edition Hyundai Sonata Synergy. It's red and gold. You get 20-inch blades, and your GPS sounds just like Kratos. Synergy.
Yeah. Let's get Chris Pratt on the line to do Uncharted. Come on.
Come on. I know he's not doing anything.
Where is he? Oh, he's being successful doing other stuff. Well, we can't get successful people. No. We need to make it unsuccessful. Double down on that.
Give me Chris Pratt's South American equivalent.
Castillo
Prato. He's just like SL Sony, S Sony, SL Diablo. Oh god, that's a deep pull. Speak of the devil, Marvel Entertainment is teaming up with NetEase to pronounce a new collaboration in sucky, wallet-draining mobile apps. This is why we don't have Marvel vs. Capcom 4, people. It's because people... Okay, I'm going to go off on a big tangent. Just
introducing Marvel's Chris Pratt Clash of Clans.
For how good Disney is at marketing.
Yeah.
How good they are at maintaining their source materials and keeping things clean and all that. They're really good at that. But when it comes to video games, Disney makes bad decisions, man. They never make good decisions. And now...
Except for Kingdom Hearts, although I never played it, but I assume that there's people who...
I love Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts 3... I love Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't have Square Enix characters, and that turned me right off of that game.
No bouncers?
No bouncer, no Noctis, no Final Fantasy 15 world where Sora gets to drive around in the car.
Yeah.
Nonsense. But anywho, so Marvel Entertainment, which is tone deaf at this point, has decided to team up with this company that strictly kind of does
Yeah.
mobile games, Apple, like Apple device games,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I get it. They're gonna make a ton of money on that,
Yeah.
a metric ton of money on that. But we haven't had a new Marvel IP since Spider-Man on the PS4, and that's getting pretty old. And I'm not counting Iron Man VR, because get out my face with that. But how was this announced? And I get that E3 is literally next month, but I'm just saying this is not a good look. Nobody's gonna get hyped for mobile games,
Here's a good mobile game. Why don't we get that Iron Dude in a running game? Yeah.
How about Yappy Spider?
Yeah.
Not Flappy Birds, but Yappy Spider.
Let's get that Spider Bro.
Put him in a
running game.
Put him in a run simulator. Charge for time, money,
endless runner
time, garbage. And I'll leave this up to you, Winner. Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 2 are going to be pulled from the Epic Game Store during their big sale, because Epic forgot to tell these companies that they're discounting their games by crazy amounts of money.
Yeah. It does not intrigue me.
Okay, we're moving on. Just know that the Epic Store is a shit show, dog. Oh my goodness.
No, I just updated my Epic Games launcher.
Because you have to. They're holding a gun to your head. It's like it's out of control. This is why
I'm a grown man. They don't tell me what to do.
As you buy more skins for your Rocket League buggy, dog.
Shut your mouth.
I almost gave myself an aneurysm there. Let's get into some movie news, man. It's not a lot.
Okay.
It's super not a lot, which will be fine. Westworld Season 3. Do you watch Westworld?
Haven't watched Season 2. I liked Season 1. That's about
I don't care about it. I use this as a segue because I feel obligated to ask you, did you watch the Game of Thrones finale, and what's your take on it? We have to talk about it.
As many people know, I watched this final season not because I wanted to in the beginning, but mostly because people were like, we need to talk about Game of Thrones. We can't talk about Game of Thrones because winter is here. I'm like, you have literally everywhere else. Leave me alone. Yeah. So then I started watching it. And not a good deal.
That's the general consensus, man.
Yeah. Again, some people don't necessarily have an idea of what the conclusion of the series is going to be, and also their source material of what the series conclusion could be was not created yet. Thanks J.R. Martin, taking forever, and also it's the Wachowski's disease. It's
exactly we just got to make this up because money's involved.
We need to build it bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, it's collapsed on its own weight.
No, what do we do now? We make it smaller and smaller.
We need to make it smaller and smaller and make the women who didn't have a role have the biggest role of all.
And the kids who didn't have a role have the biggest role of all.
Hashtag feminism for profit. Okay,
so
go on.
I was never into Game of Thrones. I didn't have HBO, so I never got into it.
Yes.
But given the backlash of this finale,
yes,
it makes me want to actually just buy the DVDs and start watching it. Now that it's all over,
just watch it.
I kind of want to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's so polarizing. People are either it's okay or I hate it. No one loved it. Either it's okay or I hate it.
Well, there's like a middle period of Game of Thrones where it turns into is this like a Skinamax version of Game of Thrones for a minute? And that's awkward to watch with your parents, my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. So I just want to bring that up really quick, and thank you for your input, because I probably am going to start it once all the hype dies down and it's a afterthought, kind of quietly watch it alone, in the dark. But while smoking one of those really long cigarettes from the 1920s.
Yeah.
I don't smoke, by the way. I just want that for the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Anyway,
This blonde Daenerys girl's got what it takes. Hacha mama.
She got the chutzpah.
Yeah. I'm just filled with the voices today, folks.
I know, man. You're balling, dude. You're out of control. You're like a regular Frank Welker over here.
You can't contain the trash.
You're like Mel Blanc over here, bro.
Yeah.
You're a regular.
I can't
don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of cartoon voices, cocaine. No, that's for Stephen King. No, he doesn't do that anymore. He's clean, guys.
No. Best excuse for having writing terrible movies.
I'm clean, guys. Give me a break.
Yeah. It was all just a drug. It was all the drugs. It was the drugs. I'm sorry.
Apparently, that was the case for Maximum Overdrive, but we don't talk about that. That was all a hot mess. Yeah. Speaking of potential
drug
hot
addicts
messes,
don't have a lot of stuff, but they do have that in the back of their pocket as an excuse for terrible creativity.
Yes. I'm an alcoholic. I'm totally devoid of all responsibility.
Now, alcoholism reverses
because I'm alcoholic.
You should they'll go, well, you should have been a good novelist.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That reminds me of this line in 1408 where John Cusack is talking to Samuel Jackson about entering the room, and he offers John Cusack a drink, and he's like, "You want a drink?" He's like, "Of course I do. I'm a writer." And I was like, "What?" Like, that's a crazy line to throw into that film. But by the way, watch 1408. It's one of my favorite movies. Anywho, we're talking about the Rescue Rangers here.
Director's edition or normal edition?
Director's cut.
Good job.
The Snyder cut for Rescue Rangers. Give us the Snyder cut. It doesn't exist, says you. Okay, who's crazier? Flat Earthers or people who believe the Snyder cut exists?
Believe the what?
Okay, who's crazier? Flat Earthers or people who believe the Snyder cut exists?
I have never heard of the Snyder cut theory.
Okay.
I thought there's always a Snyder cut waiting.
No. I got to break this down to you. So, the whole debacle with what happened with the Justice League movie, right?
Yeah.
How it wasn't working out, and Zack Snyder was apparently directing the film, but it wasn't going the way they liked it. And it had to go in reshoots and reproductions over and over. The unfortunate thing happened with his family, and Zack Snyder had to bow out of the film, to which they called Josh Whedon in to complete the rest of the film. Like, half of the film was done by Josh Whedon and half of it was done by Zack Snyder, right? Yeah. After that...
So there's not going to be a Zack Snyder cut.
No, that's what I'm saying. That the movie was a box office flop, right? The movie failed.
Right.
But there's a contingency of people who believe that somewhere in the Warner Brothers vault, the complete film by Zack Snyder exists, or at least 85% of it. But the only thing that's left is like graphical updates, and they won't release it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't think that's the case.
And
most of the time, the director's cut. Yeah,
and there is a contingency of diehard fans to this day screaming, "Just give us the Snyder cut, you cowards! Just put it out; it'll make money. I want to see his true vision." And it doesn't exist. It's like he never made it. Like, he stopped. He deliberately stopped. The whole idea is done. Anywho, a Rescue Rangers film is coming out. One of the guys from Lonely Island is going to be helming it, I guess. And this, on top of the Darkwing Duck news, just makes me think that there was some weird legal kind of like release on these things. Because it's kind of funky.
Doors open, boys.
Doors open, boys. So it's like, I won't be surprised if like 2 weeks from now, it's like Jordan Peele presents Gargoyles, the movie,
or Sharks.
Or Street Sharks, the movie. That'd be sick, dude. Can you imagine?
Dumbest idea for a show ever.
Street Sharks. People love Street Sharks, though.
Yeah. We're sharks in the streets.
Awesome.
Why do you all sound like you're minorities? Anyways.
Because it's cool. We don't eat.
But you're calling us street sharks. Don't you think there's any problem?
Shut up and eat my cheeseburgers, man. Okay, here's the food pantheon. The Turtles love pizza, right? Sonic the Hedgehog loves chili dogs. I think the Street Sharks love cheeseburgers or chili burgers or something like that.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on.
It's got to be some kid-related.
There's got to be what?
It has to be some kid-related food
Yeah.
that kids can go, I want to eat what the street sharks eat.
I want cheeseburgers. It's like, sure, little one.
Yep.
I'm putting lettuce on it. No.
Buy the action figures.
Consume products. Get excited for new products.
Yeah. Go to KB Toys.
Buy now. So, to my dismay, apparently they're remaking Jacob's Ladder.
Or is this another Jacob's Ladder scenario?
Yeah, man. This is like my They overheard me talking about my Jacob's Ladder Battle Royale, and they're beating me to the punch. This is why I don't want to talk about this stuff anymore. It's not. They keep stealing my ideas.
Now, would this would explode my mind in the movie theater if they reshoot the whole thing, and then it's the Jacob's Ladder scenario where it wakes up and it's the same like reveal from the first movie.
The thing about it's going to be that, dude. It's going to be some Iraqi desert freedom soldier who comes back. You're going to modernize it, and it's going to be bootleg tricky.
Wait a minute, is Iraqi freedom fighter still? Is that modernizing it? I don't know where you.
No, I think that's like 90s, isn't it? I don't know what the modern thing would be now.
Yeah.
Are we still on a war with somebody right now?
Real quick, and so that it can be a background.
Just so it can motivate Hollywood,
yeah.
Right? But it'll be some modern take with some war veteran who comes back and his life is all weird, and he dances with a girl with a lizard tail, and
who has
he wakes up and
fellas.
Or
you thought she had a lizard tail? Whoa!
That's dumb. Lastly,
or you snot? Okay.
Are you snot? Are you snot? That's kind of dumb. And she goes, yes, and then she just turns into like gelatinous ooze and explodes on you like the dude from Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, that's how my dream went.
Okay.
Do you remember the movie True Lies?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
A script written by Quentin Tarantino.
And I don't know.
Yeah, he wrote True Lies.
Shut up! No, he didn't. Are you serious?
Don't you call me a liar?
Fair enough. Okay. Like apparently, Dustin Hoffman was in Star Wars too.
Yeah, he was grabbing up people over there. Okay.
Yeah, man, he was Greedo. He played Greedo. I don't know.
No. I'm not going that route. I'm not entertaining that. I'm not. My mind already went to. Oh man!
You went to a really dark place, and I tried to save it, dude.
Yeah,
I'm trying to save it, man.
Yep. But yeah, he actually did write True Lies.
What? Okay. Damn it. Okay.
I'll look that up while you're talking.
Thank you, because you just broke my brain. I need evidence on that before this podcast is over. So the Disney Plus streaming service is going to be doing a True Lies TV show that's going to be helmed by MCG, the guy who does all the Mission Impossible movies. Uh-huh. And my thing is not Mission Impossible, but True Lies is a good idea. A husband who's a secret agent who doesn't tell his wife, and his wife's kind of like a everyday person, and they kind of get pulled into this life of espionage because they got pulled into one of their husband's cover IDs or into one of his operations. I think that's a good idea, but will that last over a season? I think it can,
depending on the couple,
and it depends on who you get to replace. Because can you remember the name of Arnold's character in True Lies? Does it matter?
It does not matter.
It does not matter, right? So
yeah,
you can literally get any body to kind of fit that role, and especially his wife's role. Or they can reverse it and have the wife be the kind of spy and let the husband be the homemaker. I think that would be kind of cool to flip.
One of us was wrong. One of us was wrong.
Which one was it? Was it me?
It was me. I was thinking of True Romance. Okay.
Yeah, True Romance is with what is it? Emilio Estevez,
Christian Slater,
Christian
Patricia
Slater.
Arquette.
Yeah. Val Kilmer as Elvis is in that movie.
Yeah.
The yeah.
So True Lies, that's the one that has Jamie Lee Curtis in it, right? As well.
Yeah, she does that.
So,
she does that dance, and he's like, "Do it, doucement, do it very slowly." Yeah.
So would you like to know a fun fact about that scene?
Yeah.
Where it wasn't in the script for Jamie Lee Curtis to fall.
Yeah.
And then she fell, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, "What?"
Yeah. And she got up real fast.
Get to the chopper. And then yeah.
Oh man, that was a good scene.
Yeah.
Because it was so real. I think that's one of my favorite Jamie Lee Curtis performances in film. Like, it's like,
now that scene was directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Wow. Okay, you're just gonna die on this vine, aren't you? You know, I'm dead serious. Dustin Hoffman was in Star Wars. He played a young Greedo.
Maybe Quentin Tarantino was walking down the same road as James Cameron. He tripped. Some of his pen touched the script of True Lies, and therefore, according to writing Hollywood mumbo jumbo rights, he's now credited as an unspoken writer of True Lies. Maybe
he was at Pink's at the time eating a chili dog, and he was like, "I smell Arnold Schwarzenegger," and then he just called James Cameron and was like, "Is Arnold Schwarzenegger around?" It's like, "Yeah, he's down the street." I knew that's what I smelled, and that's.
Does Pink's play that Aerosmith song 24/7?
No, it just plays the song of people screaming in line to get their hot dog.
Where's my hot dog?
Why is it $12? It's insane. I hate Pink's. I love Pink's and I hate Pink's.
Hey, babe, watch me spend $24 on a hot dog.
Baby got change for $100. I need to buy 3 hot dogs. Stupid Pink's. Stupid delicious Pink's.
Okay.
LA alternative, go to Tommy's. It's better.
And this has been Hot Hollywood Alternatives with Mike G.
Mike G. True. That was the news. The news.
Where's some hot alternative to Guy Fieri's restaurant?
There's an alternate reality where I dress like Guy Fieri and I drive a Cadillac and I just go to diners, drive-ins, and dives. But that's a dark universe.
Say you wanted to go to his restaurant in Los Angeles, but you don't like how nice he is to everybody. So what restaurant would you go? What alternative would you go to?
In Los Angeles, if I don't want to go to Guy Fieri and see his face. He does like Tex-Mex kind of stuff. If you want good Mexican food in LA, you can definitely go to what's it called? El Tepeyac in East LA.
Okay.
They have this giant, like 5-pound burrito called the El Manuel, I believe. Mm-hmm. It's super duper bomb. So you can get that. It'll punch you. You're not human enough to eat that damn thing. There's a ton of other places that it's oh no, no doggy bags, please. It's a waste of good suffering. So there's a ton of other places that are escaping me right now. Also, if you like Cuban food, go to Versailles. There's plenty of Versailles in LA.
Yeah,
it's super good.
Are there
Cuban
enough
food.
Fuddruckers around there?
There's never enough Fuddruckers, my man. I'm mad there's not one in my house. Is the problem.
You can build your own hamburger with all your crappy condiments that have been left out for common peasants to sneeze at.
You want to put peanut butter on a cheeseburger? Go to Slater 50/50s. Shut up. Peanut butter and jelly burger.
Yeah.
Isn't it wacky? I hate LA sometimes. Anyway.
This has been Hollywood Alternative.
With Michael G.
Yeah. I hate LA.
I hate LA. I'm so corrupted, guys. What are you looking forward to, man?
I'm looking forward to, I think I'm going to a French restaurant tomorrow.
Oh.
My parents told me it's all you can eat, and I said, well, I'll be the judge of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it that I have going on right now.
Yeah, man. I am looking forward to getting a haircut. I super need one.
Yeah.
I'm starting to look like Robert Williams out of Jumanji. It's not a good look.
Oh.
I'm just walking up to people. What year is it? And they're just like, "Shut up." Like,
1989.
Other than that, I'm looking forward to getting this damn game Observation on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy that eventually. And hopefully, I'll be able to play a little bit of it before
Observation
the next
on PlayStation. You just
Conjunction.
get some good communication.
Bars. Mike G and Winter Rap
Yeah.
single coming up soon. Yeah. Don't.
Okay.
That's all I got going. This week is pretty slow, man. I'm just trying to live my best life. I was able to finally try the Dark Berry Spider-Man Far From Home edition Dr. Pepper.
Uh-huh.
So it's all right. I thought it would be amazing. It wasn't. It was fine. So that was a big disappointment. I was been hunting the soda down for like 3 weeks. I finally found one in the wild.
Oh,
it was meh. It didn't taste. It just tasted like a Dr. Pepper. Damn it. Anywho, any last thoughts before we close this bad boy out?
Yeah, check me out on social media at TrashMonk3rd, the TrashMonk III. I'm trying to post more. I'll be, doing stuff.
And if you want more content like this, please find us on Twitter, which is at MNerdiverse, where you can participate in our polls of the day. We do a lot of fun posts and memes and interact with the community because this podcast, this Pottern family, as it were, is huge and has tons of people who are just amazing. So you definitely want to follow our channel for more up-to-date news. You can always like our comments and like our episodes, which you'll be able to find on Twitter as well, but also on our website, which is mastersofthenerdiversecast.com. We can listen to all of our backlogged episodes. That includes our top 10s and our MOTN reviews. We recently did one of Pet Cemetery, and it was amazing. It was okay. So you can definitely listen to all those old episodes as well. And remember to comment on our posts and to subscribe to our channels wherever you may be listening to this fine, beautiful podcast. Because just by clicking a button, just by clicking subscribe helps us immensely. So I do, fingers crossed, hope that you can do that for us. Indeed. I've, of course, been your host, Mike G.
And I've been your host, Winter.
And we will always ask you to take that one step beyond.